The lake house is a tribute to the entire context of Udaipur and to the genius loci of Udaipur. The Fateh Sagar lake is one of the many lakes that Udaipur has, and Udaipur actually benefits strongly from the presence of these lakes. From beginning, it was very clear that the building has to be strongly advocating Rajasthani architecture and the idea of a modern building, the idea also of benefiting maximum from the location, and also abstract the prevailing models that are existing in Udaipur, such as chhatris and the baradaris. The clients originate from Udaipur. They decided to buy a piece of land which is strong on its position, strong in its location, and typical for Udaipur. The brief of the design for the family was a house that would cater to 3 generations, and they thought this house to be their family home. The entire site is facing the lake, and in the backdrop we do have the Aravallis hills and various very picturesque monuments, temples, forts, chhatris and baradaris. And our site, which is perched about 9 meters above the road, that is a feeder road and a ring road around the Fateh Sagar lake, benefits from its location because of the elevation. So you are not confronted with the ring road directly, but as you move up to the site, which is about 3/4 of an acre, you sense the lake to be a part of your own piece of land. Within the site, there was an existing building. It was tucked into a corner in the eastern corner of the plot. We felt that it would be no point restoring it, rather bringing it down and starting afresh. We got the north down here, and the lake is towards the north side. Our decision to get the vantage point was to certainly orient the building all across. There were existing neem trees that we tried to integrate in our design, and the site with this water gave you a peaceful environment. We decided to expose the building towards certainly the lakeside, so we got 3 blocks of building that have been placed. These 3 blocks represent 3 different requirements. The first block is a pavilion for entertainment. So it's more a formal area, it's a single story building. And the second block is the family block with the entrance. The entire arrangement of the master planning, we are applying with the Vaastu requirements. We had to generate a ramp which goes gently to the house. Now we got a road here, and the road ends into a drop-off point for the public. Along this way, we have scooped out below the garden a parking area and few guard rooms and other utility spaces, and it caters to about 8 cars. The other drop-off, which is the daily drop-off, would then be along this side. So we have the entrance from the east side. The entire building consumes about 12,000 square feet of area, which is quite a balance between the unbuilt and built area. The entrance, as I mentioned, is from the east side, and we have created here a large canopy and a deep recess at the entrance area, so you have a covered area. We got a set of columns which are inspired by the chhatris, same with baradaris, where you had these slender columns that would create a peripheral environment to the main building. You can enter directly into a vestibule which is highly evocative. The impact of the glare reduces, and we have, as per Vaastu here, the temple. The temple is positioned as a little island, and it's very beautifully crafted in marble. From here which is a pivot or a hinge to the entire building. You can decide to go to the upper floor via the staircase, or you can decide to go to your rooms, which is the rear block, the longest block of the entire complex, or you can decide to enter the family room. The family area is being characterized by a dining space and a family area, which then overlooks the garden, the lake, as well the hills. This small opening oversees the Nehru Park, which is an island. This area is actually the pivot to the entire house. In the rear block area, we got, as per Vaastu, the southeastern side, we got the kitchen. It can very comfortably cater to the dining area, to the family area, but also to formal areas like the bar in this case and the entire entertainment zone. We have a small home office in the southeastern corner and a staircase that leads then to the staff on the first floor of this corner. So the staff can easily come down here and enter the kitchen. This area is your main area of confluence, because from here you can go into the first bedroom, which is used by the mother. In a way, she is the head of the house. She is placed here in the southwestern side. If you would go straight through this corridor, which then finally opens along the garden or towards the garden, we got here the guest room. They felt that the mother would require a close connection to the guest. We have provided there large veranda which oversees then the lake and which oversees also and becomes a part of the garden. While putting the furniture, there have been beautifully crafted jhulas which create then a certain atmosphere and a certain peace in sitting in this area and enjoying the entire landscape. The other facilities like toilets, dressers have been provided then towards the rear in this case. As we move from the entrance towards the garden side, towards the north side, we have the entire entertainment area. The entertainment area is 60 feet long and in width is about 20 feet. We got a set of columns all around, which creates then a deep veranda protecting the pavilion building, which is made only out of glass and some areas that are solid out of fabric. This arrangement of the columns, which reminiscent of the chhatri and the baradari, are very useful to protect the building from heavy rains, but also from the scorching sky. So the glare of the sky is reduced and it creates a certain porosity in the architecture. It allows to be lighter. It allows also, when I am in the garden, to look along the corner into the depth of the plot. So the corners here have been made softer. This arrangement continues in the first floor also and create a rhythm in through the placement of the column, a rhythm that is beneficial for connecting the entire setting of the building. The relation between the ecology and the built up environment is like yin yang. So the gardens are in a way the extension of these building blocks, and the main garden towards the north is mostly used for larger get-togethers. So we could easily have about 100-150 people in the front garden. We come up from the staircase to the first floor, where we have a small study area and an area that allows you to look and to use the roof terrace of the entertainment area. The entire thing has the expanse of 20 feet by 60 feet, as big as the entertainment area below. We got the master bedroom in this corner. It terminates with a deep veranda, and the veranda is covered with a roof, and again the language continues here with the arrangement of the column all around in this case. By pushing this building little in, and having the roof cantilevered, you are creating a chhaja for all the spaces on the first floor and reduce thus the heat impact and the impact by the heavy rains. This arrangement continues also in the rear block, which has then the daughter's room. So we got the first bedroom here and then the second daughter's bedroom in this corner. We introduced a terrace which allows also a view then diagonally across to its surrounding. The daughter too has very clear terrace, again 20 feet by about 8 feet. All the endpoints of these building blocks are made in such a way that there is a visual cross connection, even a communication that can be established. The entire construction of the building is done in this material, which is white concrete, and we have treated the white concrete, especially the columns and the walls, with different textural qualities. One of the ways is to have simply the flat concrete surface, which we have used around the windows and along the reveals of the windows, so that mounting of the window would have not given us trouble. The other areas of walls and columns have been treated with a retarding agent, which allows to create this textural quality. This textural quality certainly enhances also a relation to the traditional architecture, stone architecture, and it enhances also through the play of light a certain volume and a certain strength that it gives to the building. All our columns are 8 by 8 inches. The idea to keep the columns very thin was again to generate this effect of a pavilion architecture as against a very heavy building. The building on the first floor is constructed without columns. It is a lightweight construction sitting on the slab of the ground floor. The slabs are very thin. All the slabs in this building are made out of pre-stressed concrete. A certain flexibility for future is always good, because the patterns of families do change over time. By introducing these corridors, which have a skylight in the building, we were able to generate a certain lightness within the interiors. We were able to generate also the flow of the air going through the building. So you would have during the entire season a very comfortable climate. All the glazing systems for the pavilion have been made from floor to ceiling, while smaller windows are flush to the outside, larger windows we recess. As you arrive in the formal drop-off point, which are meant mostly for guests at certain events, you go up along this stone wall. In fact, the entire boundary and the retaining has been developed by craftsmen from Udaipur, and the stone is from Udaipur only. It's a natural stone in a random formation, and we have juxtaposed against that the staircase, which is made out of bijolia and crafted in such a way that the appearance of the bijolia steps are very solid. We have juxtaposed against this wall the other side with simple cement plaster. So you have the smooth and the tactile facing each other, and we have an external furniture here which then enjoys the view towards the lake and is nicely nested within the garden. This area itself has been landscaped with grass landscape to create a reflection on the breeze that comes from the lake. So it's a grass that most of the time is in motion. As you move up, slowly the sound actually disappears and you are into the garden area, and because of the pavilion position, it compels you to look back at the lake. This is actually a aha moment in the entire design, because you become a part of the ubiquitous presence of the lake and you experience also the vastness of the gardens. Very important that we have various elements of landscape and the exteriors made in such a way that you sense the breeze that comes from the lake as a part of the entire environmental experience. We have planted along the boundary lycophyllum. It consumes very little water, but also because its color rendering is very close to the rendering of the surface of water. It has this very muted green similar to the olive tree, and in this corner we have used date palms. Now all new plantation here inside are date palms. Existing plantation were neem trees, they also do very well here at side. Khajur generally, or the date palm, is a plant that has only large stems and the crown has then the leaves. So your visibility is not obstructed. We have achieved with this pavilion a modern interpretation of the indigenous Rajput-Mughal architecture, and in words of Louis Kahn, I would say the construction itself of these pavilions turn into their decoration. The clients have been from very beginning encouraging on this project, and they have let us do a lot. This is a piece where we wanted to keep the architecture very, very humble and very much connected to its surrounding.